now?
So I'm going to do a little tutorial on how to cut this shape out of glass, which is not that easy. And this may break, and then you will see that it really isn't that easy. So the principle that I described earlier, where you start by cutting the most difficult cut first, applies with bells on for this kind of cut. So under no circumstances must you cut this edge first, because then you'll only have this amount of glass between this cut and the edge, and it will just break across there. So now we've got that, and that's not that much, but I'm hoping it'll be all right. So I will put a clear piece of paper underneath so you can see better what I'm doing. So you want to be on the outside of this line, actually, because this is the piece we're going to keep. Now it's got a horrible little thing there, which may...
Where?
There's just, I don't know whether you can see it.
Oh, sorry, I zoomed into it.
Oh, okay. There's a little texture in the glass, and it may break along there.
What, the two little lines?
Little line.
Yeah.
So having done your outside curve, or the curve that's the true cut, you then do a series of cuts, getting closer, or lines, grind lines, getting closer and closer to the true line. So you start off with something really shallow. Yeah, I can feel the cutter getting stuck in that line, so yeah, this may all come to naught, but we'll give it a go. So I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 lines. Now I'm getting my grosses, and I'm going to start with the first line, and then I'm just easing away. I'm doing that action where I'm not snapping so much as just pulling it away from the bigger piece of glass.
Can you move a bit forward? Thanks.
Can you move actually it's hard, so maybe you could move the camera forward.
No, don't worry, yeah. Carry on.
Okay. So this is where you start the nibbling. Right, moment of truth, will it come off without breaking? There we are.
Yay!
And that's how it's done.
Perfect. Let me just do a cheeky zoom. Look at how smooth that is. That's brilliant.
Okay, so I shall get rid of this glass. A little sweep, because obviously that creates a lot of crumbs. And we will now cut the rest of the shape out. So I tend to just cut straight onto the glass with the pattern underneath, unless it's a very difficult cut that I'm going to need to swivel about. So I will now just cut the outside curve. I will do this. Ooh, that's a nasty thing. I'm doing it in more than one go because it's quite a vulnerable shape. If this was a solid piece of glass, you could probably just take the whole curve in one go. but I don't want to risk it. Now it's really bad and a bit annoying, but there's a nasty little groove in the glass there.
Nasty groove.
Nasty groove. So I'm going to just keep my fingers crossed. I think you could probably hear that then, couldn't you? Right, let's hope it doesn't go dancing off in the wrong direction. Yay.
Ooh.
So, there it is. I've got a little bit of a where the two curves join, which I can carefully nibble at. I'm being very careful because that is the weak point. Okay. So there we have it. That's one piece. Now I have to do the other piece.
Yeah.
So Frida's now going to cut number 3 and number 11. Before I said keep the textured side uppermost, but because she's going to paint this piece of glass, I'm going to suggest she works on the smooth side because it makes it a lot easier. Now, because Frida's a beginner at cutting glass, I'm going to suggest she draws over it rather than cuts directly over the pattern. So I suggest the first cut follows here and then goes off in this direction, and then the next cut does that, and then the next cut takes it all the way home, so to speak.
And I'm going on the inside?
Yeah. Inside, yeah. Okay. So you don't have to follow my line exactly, you just have to take it off to the outside edge, because you won't get that done in one go. So you might need to have 4 goes at it. So you might find that the next one takes you off in that direction.
Guess we'll find out. There's a bit of a jagged.
Yeah, but that's what the grosses are for. Some people do use cutting mats, so nothing wrong with doing that.
Do they need to groove that bit?
No, I would cut that bit. Yeah, I think they've got sort of whole. It's like a meshed mat, so that the bits of glass fall down and don't get under your sheet of glass. No, you won't. You have to use the grosses.
Okay, I worried my head was blocking everything the whole time.
Oh, I don't know.
Oopsie. And
Okay.
now for the...
Yeah. You're supposed to be taking the uneven edges, smoothing it off, I suppose, because you will always get these little peaks where 2 curves have joined. And don't forget that will be under the lead, so that's okay. Okay, do you want to pop it on your pattern? See how? No, on your cutting pattern.
Yes, it does.
Excellent. So now number 11. No grosses wrong way up. Sorry.
The grosses again.
Yeah, when there's not much leverage, they do make your life a bit easier. Fabulous.
Should I trim it? It needs trimming.
Yeah. If you've got black line showing that needs to come off because that's the lead line, so it's going to get in the way. So it's a slight downward motion as you nibble.
Yeah. Yum yum. I managed to make it so jaggedy.
Right, so we've got to get rid of this black line because while that black line's there, it's not going to fit into that internal curve we've cut. Yeah?
Yeah.
Curves are so unforgiving. No amount of pushing will make it fit.
Whereas with straight lines,
They don't sort of grow in the same way. You know, somehow the discrepancies are magnified when it's a curve or an angle. Still need a bit more. There is such a thing as a glass grinder, and I do have one, and I used it a lot when I first started making glass because my cutting wasn't as accurate, but actually I haven't used it for years. But maybe I should get it out to show you how you could smooth this off with a grinder.
yeah, we can do that after we finish cutting maybe. Come back to it. So we're all set up here.
Yeah. Let's see if it fits. No, you see it's still.
Why don't we put this one on?
There's a tiny internal corner here that needs to come off. Yeah, these outside edges, they will nibble away at. It's much easier to nibble the external curve than the internal curve. So,
What does that mean? External, internal? Which one's the external?
this is an internal curve on the orange, and this is an external curve. Yeah, it's a bit on the big side. Obviously, the more accurate the cutting, the less time you have to spend nibbling. But that just comes with practice. Just worried. If this grows and it won't fit together when we lead it, we may find this sticks out a bit like that, and it might be easier just to take that edge off. So we'll leave it at that for the time being, and when we come to lead, we'll either grind or we'll. See, this one's a much better fit. See, we've got a nice space all the way around. Whereas this one, it just is on the big side. Anyway, that's good enough for now. So I would do number 5 first. This end of the design, you couldn't cut that, and it won't show. It'll be totally covered by lead. So you only have to have it lined up from here.
Do I draw it on the line or inside?
On the line. Sometimes, can I show you? You can use the corner of your
Okay.
grozers